Spencer Agnew, a fan-favorite Smosh cast member known for his dry wit, his deep-cut references, and his ability to provoke the rest of the cast in just the right way to get the absolute funniest reactions.
Movies with a female lead.
Ew. Sorry.
He was initially hired as an editor and never expected to be in front of the camera at all. I spent a day with Spencer to dig into his notoriously private life and find out how he gained the confidence to perform for millions of viewers. Hello, Spencer.
Whoa, hey.
Hello, my good man.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Merry Christmas. It's
Merry
Christmas today.
Is it really?
It's Christmas today as this is released.
No way. So viewers are gonna wake up to like the best present ever.
I feel like you are one of the most chill people that I know. Usually I feel very nervous going into an interview, no matter who it is, but I'm like, it's Spencer. Yeah, things are gonna be chill. Have you always just been chill? Is that just, you just came out of the box like that?
Came out of the box like that? That's my mom, bro.
No offense to Mrs.
I
Agnew.
think it was like a very like active, like there's a lot of shit happening around me. So I kind of had to be chill.
Did you have siblings?
Yeah, I got 2 younger siblings and they're always, siblings are always crazy.
Did you have like that older brother?
I was a to them.
You were a
I was really mean.
I couldn't be mean. My mom would break us up the moment that I was mean. So I never even got to tease my brother. I'm bummed. I didn't get to tease him about anything.
That's crazy. To me, like, I'm surprised I got away with like how much, like we were straight up hitting each other.
Hitting each other?
Yeah.
Were they brothers or?
2 younger sisters, and I was wailing
You were
on them.
hitting your younger sisters,
Yes,
bro?
like, dude, it sounds bad now, but like that was the meta.
So flashback 25 years ago, you're on Christmas,
I'm wailing,
Christmas Day, you're wailing on
I'm
them?
throwing them at the wall.
Suplexes and shit?
No, I didn't get too nothing too technical.
Is it true that Shane based his chosen character off of you?
My name is Spencer Agnew.
Some parts of it, yes. It started off, I think, as impressions of like a couple other people.
Yeah.
And then it slowly narrowed down to
You.
it did. There was kind of a convergence onto me, and I based mine on other people too.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's someone we all like knew growing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little like Napoleon Dynamite, where it's like they think they can do anything. Well, they know they can do anything.
In the Assumptions episode that you just did with Tommy, Ian brought up the assumption that if you work at Smosh, you immediately get to be on camera. Maybe some people think that because, we do a lot of crew gauntlet style, try not to laughs, and crew things where the crew behind camera gets to be on camera, that is what happened with you, because you are now officially a cast member, but yet you are also directing. You had to be working behind the scenes and kind of working to get yourself to this position for a long time.
If you do a really good job at something, then that will open the door to do other things that maybe you're not good at.
Yeah.
But then people will allow you the space to not be good at something. It's like for me, it was like editing. Like I edited for so long and I got really good at it.
Yeah, you started as an editor for a bunch of Clever TV. Were you a full-time editor for Clever?
Yeah.
And that was during the Defy era. So this was like a sister company to Smosh at the time.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever met you.
Yeah, I wasn't doing anything about editing. And so they were super nice and they kind of let me tag along to all kinds of shit back then. And it wasn't like a super conscious like effort, but I would finish my edit, then I'd be bored, so I just walk over to the Smosh Games team or like the Clever side of things, and just kind of be like, "Hey, what's up?"
Was it kind of that schmoozing that got you on camera?
I got the first stuff on Smosh Games just by asking. Then they were kind of just pulling random guys from the office on the Clever side. I think they were trying to figure things out, and so they were like, "Oh, what if we talk to guys around the office about like things they like and what they don't like?" And I was one of the people they polled. I think it was because I was the only person who wasn't like, I hate women. That was like the vibe. It wasn't like I hate women, but it was more of like a
throw everyone at the company under the bus.
No, it was like everyone else was like, "Oh, I don't like when girls wear that," or whatever.
Well, let's watch the first video. You were in this beauty break video, and there were a couple other guys in the video too, right? I want to, because you really stood out, and there were so many comments, so many top comments are all about.
I think I just look like, it's like because I'm the most child looking.
Well, you think that's why?
So yeah, asked male coworkers for their opinion on girls' style trends. Look at that Babus new font. We still use that to this very day.
What do you think about brightly colored hair?
Yes.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that.
Yeah, I think it's a great look.
Love it.
Were you the only guy that said you're down?
You're a troll.
Ooh. For My Little Pony.
Exactly.
See Kevin
or My Little
immediately
Pony.
calling women trolls?
Yeah.
Not me.
Thoughts
Not
on
me, chat.
Yeah, you woke up before this.
Yeah, I was woke before society was.
Hey, thanks for having
Isn't
me.
he so cute? He's on a smaller chair, to be fair, but he's the star.
I'm
You're
also,
a star.
Yeah, I am also sitting on a pillow to help.
I love you. Never leave. Do you want to host this with me every week?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, that
So
was
very
just
chill,
like
though.
it was. You know, I think it was just small. I think that
You
was
think
the vibe.
that was it? You
think that was
think
the
that you
vibe.
were small?
Yeah, I was non-threatening.
I think you were just chill, you know? And the top comment says moral of the video is if you want to get ladies, just be Spencer. Has that worked out for you?
It's worked for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I know how to do.
You just be you when you get the ladies.
Sometimes.
Yeah, at that time it was very expected to be loud and over the
Yeah.
top and have controversial takes, and you were just kind of chill. Just the chill presence that you bring has definitely brought something unique to the cast, and kind of, I think, helped everyone realize, like, oh, we don't need to be just like crazy and over the top at all times. We could be a little bit more real.
That is something I was kind of conscious of when it clicked with me that I did want to be on camera, was we can yell sometimes. We don't always have to yell. Like, there's
Yeah.
so much joy and humor and just like kind of saying things with a straight face or you know, I mean, because that's how my friends and I would joke or do bits or whatever. It's like, you know, who can get the other person to crack by like playing it as straight as you can. So I asked if I could be in some videos. I was like, well, okay, we'll try it out. And then like almost as soon as I was in the videos, I was like, oh, this is hard. This is really hard and really scary.
What were you scared of?
Just not being funny.
Yeah.
Just not deserving it. You know, it's like, damn, I asked to be here and then I'm just gonna sit here and not do anything funny or not really contribute.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Did we talk about Spencer being allegedly uncancelable?
That scares me, dude. I've said some fucked up shit in my life. People are like, oh, he's so like, like the shit I have like not said is crazy. The idea of actually being canceled, it's like, dude, I would grovel. The shit I would do to like apologize. I will say, if canceled, I think I could do a really good apology.
What would make it so good?
I think I would mean it.
That's all that you have to do? That's
I
the
don't
secret
get the
recipe?
sense in a lot of these apology videos, I don't think they really like, there's a kind of insincerity. Like, I feel like I would be like blubbering on camera, you know, because I do like, you know, for all my chillness, like I care a lot about like what people think of me. And because like, you know, I don't want to upset people. That's like the last thing I want. And so if I like actually hurt someone with my words, like that would really upset me.
No, yeah. No, that's so real though, because there are, I'm like, just speak from the heart.
Yeah.
Like,
are you sorry or not?
Are you
and
sorry?
it's like, dude, I'm fucking sorry. Like,
Yeah.
and I have like, you know, who among us hasn't said like, you know, fucked up shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something special that you bring, is that you can say some fucked up shit with a straight face, and everyone just knows you're joking.
Yeah, that feels like a skill of mine, but I don't know where it comes from. I think that's just kind of the humor that my friends and I had growing up.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, who can say the most fucked up thing with a straight face and then just like kind of act like you didn't say it. And I kind of thrive off in the same way Ian does, where it's like you almost thrive off getting a rise out of people in that way. Where it's like, dude, I can't believe you said that. It's like,
I think it's also partially you have to know the person to know they don't actually mean it, or that they actually care, that they're actually empathetic.
I think, yeah, you have
There's
to
layers.
demonstrate that you are capable of like loving and caring for other people to be able to do things like that. Like if I just came in and was doing that, like I hope everyone would just fucking beat me up, throw me out.
Yeah, you'd be gone. I think it's the authenticity. You know, I think that audience now wants to watch people be authentic on camera, and they want to see people who are authentic in general. And I think that is something that you do very well. You're able to be just so authentic, even with a straight face, where they know that from the outside, I feel like you just know who Spencer is. To a certain degree, like, even though you're really private, you don't really share a ton of details about your personal life, but you still get a sense of who you are through that authenticity. So you know that when you say something up, that it's clearly a joke. It's clearly a joke.
That was /J.
/J.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that is something that helped me be on camera, was realizing that I could be authentic. It's easiest when what you are on camera is just like a more caffeinated version of yourself. And I think that is what I have cultivate for myself, where it's like, I don't really turn stuff on. I just get a little more talkative.
I feel like you found such a clever way of being so authentically you on camera that people feel like they totally know you, but yet withholding certain things so that you can remain private. Like, people can't look at you and know everything about you. And for many different eras on YouTube, it was so popular there was a vlogging era that I was a part of, where it was like everything is out there, like me proposing to someone is on the internet, you know?
I think that always really scared me, and I've never liked sharing too much of myself in that way. I saw it happen to so many people, like Shane and Courtney. Like, you know, I don't want to be like, I knew their whole truth and I knew everything that was happening always, but I would see fans talk about it like as if they knew anything. And that frustrated me. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, it frustrates me when I see people talk about celebrities or, you know, people on YouTube as if they know them, because it's like, you know, in the case of people on Smosh, I'm like, those are my friends. And like, I don't think it's as that simple, or that, like, you know, I don't think they like being pigeonholed into that way. You know, there's so much more dimensional, and to me, you know, it just kind of becomes like, I also don't have much like interesting to share about my life.
When they are a fan of someone, everything is interesting, though, you know, even the mundane.
The more of your actual self you put out online, the more that goes to like, the less it becomes like of yourself. Yeah. Like if I'm putting out my actual opinions or my actual like takes in depth, like that leaves people open to like, you know, counter my opinions. And it's like, you know, then it's like, am I the person who like argues with people online? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I could very easily be that. Mm-hmm. I love arguing with people about like dumb shit, but I know that it's like an all-consuming path. And then the other part is like, I frankly just don't like posting.
I think it's just the trap of getting caught up in numbers, because the more personal you get, the more that your numbers raise.
I have always been a little like obsessed. Like those numbers always kind of, I remember like MySpace, like on, you know, you'd have your profile picture. I don't know if it was called likes or like thumbs up or
favorites.
Yeah, like, you know, people would like your profile picture or like, you know, comment on it, and like that always felt really good. I like seeing numbers go up. That's why I like my idle games, because numbers go up.
That's interesting that you have been focused on numbers and analytics, because I feel like the way that you approach things doesn't
it's not like, I don't think of it as analytics. It's more like, I like big numbers. I like seeing like, and I'll like, look, bank account, I like big numbers.
10,000?
Yeah, 10,000.
Sound good?
Sound good.
You like that one?
I like that one. That's
what
a
about
good
100,000? You like that
I
one?
like that number.
More? Bigger?
Bigger.
Million?
Let's keep going.
200 million.
200 million.
You like that number?
That's a good cap.
You really like that one?
And that's, I think, what's scary about like the social media stuff, where I'm like, if I post, then I'll get caught up in this rat race of like, oh, what if my last picture doesn't get as many likes as the picture before?
I definitely have dealt with that. I feel like I'm going through a little bit of a reset right now. I'm not wanting to post about myself, or I'm wanting to really disconnect, be on camera less, because I've got so trapped in it that I feel like I've spent so much of my life not even being able to be myself and grow and look how I want, be how I want, because I'm thinking about the way people perceive me from the outside.
You know, it's hard to tie your self-worth to anything until you see this like very tangible number.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this picture of me got X amount of likes.
Yeah.
Whereas this picture of me got this amount of likes. It's like,
and that's the new bar now.
And it's
not
like,
even...
how do you ignore that information once you have it? That's hard for me. So it's like, well, I'd rather just not post any of it. And it's like, and almost not put myself out there as like the center of a video, because it's like, well, then I'm more likely to tie my self-worth to, you know, this very concrete, like, you know, metric. And that's just not a healthy way to live, I don't think.
Yeah, and I feel like I've spent so much of my life not allowing myself to grow or be or look or act the way that I actually feel, because so many numbers and so many opinions and comments and thoughts have been directed my way, that I feel like, yeah, right now I'm like, I need a moment to just to find who I am without so much of this. I mean, I still enjoy doing all this stuff, but I feel like I've been able to actually grow and be myself a bit more, because I'm not so caught up in the numbers.
Yeah, and it's really hard to get, because frankly, a lot of my job is the numbers, where it's like,
especially being director too.
It's like, hey, if this video doesn't get views, that looks bad on my part.
Do you still look at each individual video and you're like, I feel good, I feel bad?
Yeah, I'm not like checking them religiously, but like when a video goes up, like I'll definitely check a couple times throughout the day.
Yeah.
And that's like what you were saying, like that's the hard part, where it's like, how do you balance like work and life? It's like when especially you tie your worth to these numbers, but it's scary.
I want all the channels to take risks and not necessarily care if the numbers are low for a video or 2 or 10. Like, if you're taking risks, you'll learn something, as long as there's always a takeaway. There's always something to be learned from it, even if the video doesn't perform well.
Yeah.
Well, shit, how did you go from editing to directing? 'Cause even that was a kind of a crazy jump.
Well, I always wanted to direct movies. So when I came out here, I was like, how do you start? I had the internship and I was editing for that. And then I got the gig editing at Defy for Clever. I was just trying to figure out what to do after editing for so long. And, they're like, well, you can direct or produce these videos too. So I was like, sure, I'll do it. It feels close enough to directing something. I would direct like videos, but I was not like the director of the channel. I was not like deciding creative.
Mm-hmm.
And then years later, I guess it was like 2022, some maybe, they're like, hey, we're gonna look for like a director of the actual channel to oversee everything. I was like, shit, good luck to whoever that is. And I just didn't feel qualified for that. And then I realized that like kind of no one's ever really qualified for anything when they first do it.
That's true.
And so I was like, F it. And I threw my hat in the ring and then I had to fight for it, which was hard for me because I wasn't used to like fighting for myself in that way. And I'm still not always used to it.
There was this weird gray area where you weren't sure if you were going to get the position or not. And it was this really chaotic time where it was like that it probably wasn't going to be you, but you were very chill about it. You're like, okay, cool. And I think you were even helping them like look for a director to some degree. After there was all this chaos and all the dust settled, they were like, wait, Spencer was so chill during all of that. He can work under pressure. All eyes were on you as a potential director because you were so chill and like you were able to come up with a plan on the spot under such pressure.
It was a little surreal. And even then I was like, shit, well, I really hope I don't fuck this up. There was definitely a lot of like, I don't want to say sleepless nights, but like, I would lay in bed and be like, what do I even do? Like, I don't know anything about like, like following trends or running a YouTube channel or like, like the back end stuff, like all those like graphs and shit. I was like, that's all like, all I can do is kind of follow a vibe.
Because the thing with Smosh, I feel like that really stands out from so many other channels on YouTube is it's about the vibes. It's about it feeling like it's fun and playful. There's no rush. We're just hanging out. We're having a good time. Like as long as we get laughs. If there is a moment where everyone just dies laughing, that's a major successful video. It's not about the video going according to plan. Mm-hmm. In fact, that will throw off the vibes too.
It's almost better
when it does go off.
If they are enjoying something more that's not part of the real game, it's like you got to just kind of make it a part of the game. And in a way, I don't want to talk about them like they're toddlers because it's like it's the same way for me. Like if I'm like, if I'm in like a Reddit stories and there's like some like part of a story, it's like I want to pick apart that part and like it's about finding that balance of like letting the cast kind of pick apart at whatever thing grabs their attention. Because otherwise, if you're just like on like guardrails the whole time, it's like, oh, I want to talk about this. It's like, well, we're running low on time. It's like, oh, fuck. Like I was getting excited.
When you're directing and you're performing, your brain is almost split and you can't give full attention to either. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that really makes it hard because I'm listening, but then I'll be thinking about the next 10 things and then the time and how much,
the time is a big one because that's
always time. So how do you manage that to be present on camera? Because that really is what Smosh is about. Seeing people not just performing together, but being present together.
As long as you're engaging with either the game or the people in the video or like the story that's being told, then it's like, that's kind of what it's all about. And it's like, if the vibe's not there for everyone to want to be present, because you're trying to keep the cast's attention, because it's like, if you don't keep their attention with like, if the game's not good or if like the rules are confusing, like they're going to wander like any normal person. And it's not like a privileged cast thing. It's just like that's like, look, I'm worse than cast, I bet, when it comes to learning games. Like as soon as someone starts explaining a game to me, my eyes glaze over. I can't do it.
Going back to the assumptions video with Tommy, you mentioned you don't doubt that you deserve where you're at. You don't doubt that you deserve the position that you're in. Because, it's kind of brought up that a lot of people might sit with that anxiety of, I don't deserve what I'm doing, I don't deserve this. And a lot of creators on YouTube that I've spoken to, especially on this show, have talked about imposter syndrome being one of the biggest things, where they're just constantly feeling like they need to fight to prove that they deserve where they're at or what they have.
I think if I was more of like a solo creator, because I get that, like if I had a huge amount of success alone, like if I had if I was entirely self-made, maybe I would feel that. But it's like, I've worked with so many like super talented people over such like a long period of time, whereas like my success feels like the whole group's success, where it's like, you know, it's directly equivalent to that. You know, it's like, and I wouldn't have any of my funny jokes if I weren't like sitting across from like Shane or whoever, you know. It's such a group effort that like, if I were to have like imposter syndrome myself, it would almost feel like a disservice to everyone else, because like they can elevate like anyone. Everyone's so good at like teeing people up for success, really. Like I think it's kind of hard to fail when you're surrounded by those people.
I feel like it's common, I don't know if it's in our culture, our society or what, but I feel like it's very common to kind of beat yourself up and say, I don't deserve this. It's almost expected. It's like, oh, that's humble. You're being humble, and that's what's expected. You be humble, don't feel like you deserve what you have, talk negatively about yourself in your head constantly, like keep yourself down. In some sense, you talked about how you need to have that delusion that you can be successful, that you can do well in order to, I guess, go where you've gone.
Yeah, and I mean, I think time has been a huge part of it. Like if this had happened to me, like back then, like, you know, 10 or whatever years ago, if I became like part of a well-known comedy troupe like overnight, I'd be like, oh shit, like this is crazy. Like I probably don't deserve this. But I learned so much from everybody. I got to talk to, you know, so many generations of like people at Smosh. You know, since I persevered through all that, it does feel a little earned.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't exactly easy.
Yeah, it was not easy. And I had to work really hard. So I think that knowing that I worked really hard makes it a little easier.
I think it's cool to see someone in the position that you're in not say, oh, I have imposter syndrome, I don't think I deserve this. To say, no, I did put in the work, I believed in myself, and this is where it got me. If you believe that you can accomplish something, you are so much more likely to accomplish it than not.
Oh yeah, but it takes belief, because like the other thing was, you know, I learned in that process of like becoming the director was like, you can have like all the allies you want, but like nobody's gonna, such a corny piece of advice, but like nobody's gonna fight for you harder than you fight for yourself. And that was a scary realization.
In fact, people will fight for you closer to how much you fight for yourself. If you don't fight for yourself at all, like people will treat you how you think you deserve to be treated.
Yeah. So for me, it was really scary to ask for things that I wanted.
Like getting on camera and directing.
Yeah, and I mean, and most of the time, the only way, like, the stuff does not fall into your lap unless you're really lucky. And I won't lie, like, things have fallen into my lap. Like, I would say, like, that first clever stuff, like, absolutely, like, fell into my lap.
That was the luck, but then you had to
then, like, but I didn't push for it back then. Like, I wonder if there was, like, almost a whole different trajectory where it's, like, I had continued down the path of, like, being on those kinds of shows. But I didn't push to be on any more. It was never like, I wasn't going to like, hey, I want to be in more. Hey, I want to be in more. I would sit there and be like, I wonder why they're not having me on more.
Would you doubt yourself? Would that come in?
There was doubt, and there was also just like, maybe I said something weird in the last one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not like the journey they want to go down with that channel. Like they don't want any more talent on there. And then I think my headcanon that helped me believe was like, oh, they probably don't want to pay me as a on-screen talent. Because like, how long would it be until I'm asked, or until I ask like, hey, I've been on these videos. They're getting, some of those have like millions of views. And I'm like, I'm not getting anything for them. You know, I'm getting my $200 a day for editing, which was great money for the time. But still, like, you know, I'm like, when do you start asking for money to be on camera?
When did you know you were officially on-camera talent?
I don't think there was ever really like an official moment.
Yeah,
where,
I don't think we ever like announced or
I think there were just a couple times when like something would happen, they'd be like, well, Spencer, you're basically talent, so get in there. I was in a couple photo shoots, and they'd be like, and put Spencer in it. I'm like, that's crazy, but okay. Because even back then, I didn't feel like, there's some photo shoots from like forever ago. There's one we have like eyeliner on.
It was like unspoken that you were cast, but.
Yeah, but like I had so many other responsibilities that just felt like, it didn't feel like it. I don't know if it'll ever feel like I'm cast. Like for me right now, it just feels like I'm very close to the cast, and I have an excuse to hang out with them. Because I'm like, well, I'm directing the video, I gotta hang out with them. Like I gotta keep up the good vibes.
Yeah, you're saying like it feels like a dream come true, but yet you didn't know this was your dream.
I mean, right now I'm like fulfilling a weird dream. It was like, oh, my job, like I hang out with my friend. I joke about it in that Resident Evil video, but it's like, or I show Angela and Amanda Resident Evil. I'm like, oh, like my job, like I get to show them like video games.
You get to fulfill your big brother duties.
Yeah, and it's just like, it kind of feels like, you know, it's like when you show someone a movie, and it's like that feeling. It's like, dude, imagine getting paid to do that.
And people love it. It's great.
It's
fun to watch.
It's fun to watch. I mean, they're so fucking good at like reacting.
Yeah.
So like Angela and Amanda are, whenever I try and describe it to people, I'm like, you know, when you show someone a movie and you're like watching for their reaction, it's like, they better fucking freak out at this part.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine if you had that and they do freak out at every part.
Mm-hmm.
And they almost act like, it almost feels like you made the thing, you know? Because I think people watching, you know, it's like they would love to be able to show Angela and Amanda like a movie or a game they like. And
again, there's like people get to live vicariously through you.
Yeah, a word we were kind of working with, kind of trying to go up with like the tone and stuff was like aspirational, where it's
For the
like,
channel?
hey, like, yeah, I aspire to be part of a group like this that, you know, has the rapport and has the camaraderie and interactivity that the Smosh Games, like, you know, people on the channel have, the space that they play in and things like that, for it to all feel like, oh, I want to play in that space. And I think we've come far to in accomplishing that, and you know, I think we can go even further.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like you and Alex and everyone brought the Smosh Games channel to a place that it feels like it is in its gold. It feels like it's in its platinum era. Like it truly feels like it's just like, I always know I'm gonna get to have a good time. I think the channel wasn't always like that.
And that's another advantage I had to being there for so long, was I saw so many eras that was just like, okay, you're gonna come in, we're gonna kick you in the penis, and then we're gonna flick you really hard, and then you eat a hot pepper, and then we're just gonna spit on you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna take turns spitting on you. And I was like, oh, okay. And
The punishment era.
Yeah, the punishment era, and you know, like,
dude, I dreaded being in videos when it was the punishment era.
and that was like
and
every,
you feel that.
you know, every summer games, like the mouse traps and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's funny. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's some funny. I mean, it's funny to watch.
It's funny to watch.
Yeah, but it's like, once you get to know the cast, it's almost like, no, I can't imagine, like, and don't get me wrong, we think of like pranks all the time, but they're always like, oh, and then like you come in and you're wearing a silly hat and no one else is wearing a silly hat.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe where it's like, how do we make them laugh? Like, I think I just became so averse to the punishment kind of content.
Yeah, it's weird that became so trendy. I think it was because YouTube at the time, there was a lot of prank videos. There was like
It definitely
crazy
worked.
vlogs.
It fucking worked, and that's the
did
problem.
work,
Like,
yeah.
you know, you look at those old like hot pepper videos, and it's like millions of views. It's
Yeah.
like, how can you argue with that?
Sure, but I feel like it took that special place of, I guess, like being a fan of the content, being a fan of the people in the videos, and then appearing in the videos yourself and directing the videos, that like you get that new perspective. And I think that it's actually brought a fresher perspective of what the audience actually wants. I don't think the audience actually wants to see people eat hot peppers all day.
So I just thought of a really funny analogy. It's almost like, have you seen Monsters, Inc.?
Yeah.
You know how they're bottling the screams?
Yeah.
For so long, and they find out that if you bottle the laughter, it provides more energy. It's kind of like that, and it's like, but look, I would never deny that the screams power. Like, you know, I love
That's good.
Shane and Amanda in the fucking Five Nights at Freddy's shit.
Yeah.
With them like pissing their pants, like that's really funny to
Yeah.
me. But like, you know, there has to be more of like them having fun
Yeah.
to earn that, like those little, like you really gotta pick your battles.
I feel like that's also a thing that this era of the games channel that you and Alex and everyone is doing so well, is you're creating these series and you're evolving them and you're finding ways to create new fan favorite moments that feel like tent poles, that feel bigger than just like video, which is, I feel like in the past it used to feel like you were just like kind of churning stuff out.
Something that scares me, sorry, I was getting a little too, something
Just lay down.
yeah, because sometimes we'll have like a really funny video and it's like, how do we top that? Like I'll use like the Chosen thing as like an example. There'll be a Chosen video and I'll be like, that was so funny. That was like the funniest thing ever. And I'll be like, I don't remember anything from that. And then like, you know, it'll take off and you're like, shit, I don't know how to like be that funny again. I don't know how to like top whatever we did in the past one.
It sets the bar higher.
It sets the bar higher and higher. And it's like, you know, like, oh, like they all went crazy when we played this board game. It's like, well, how do we top this? It's like, well,
Yeah.
you don't try. And that's the interesting thing.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what the Defy era did is like, that worked, do it bigger, but
Exactly.
bigger and louder and crazier. That's a unique position to be in where it's not just like do it bigger, do more. Like for example, the Darts series, it was like characters. In the third episode, it's like real people, but then the characters are the commentators.
And that was, that was another instance of like, hey, we don't want it to go too big, so what if they just played themselves and let kind of the commentators be like the color commentary. But yeah, that was like a very conscious where it's like, hey, we're not trying to top what we did, we're just trying to change it.
Yeah, I feel like that comes from the perspective of being a fan of the content. Like you can tell that you are a fan of the content and the people in these videos that you're directing. And I think that's also a big shift since we have gone fully independent, is that we can fully lean into that. And it's not just like analytics, baby, we got to get the views up. It's like, let's bring that heart. So let's highlight the connection and the dynamics between all the cast. And what's interesting is that the views do go hand in hand.
I think they detect that a little because it's,
the viewers can sense when there's that love put into it.
I hate to say like we're just trying to make each other laugh, but it's like, if we have a really funny video, then it's like it's easier for us to rewatch to give notes or something like that, or we're like excited to watch it. So it's just like, it's like, hey, how can we make ourselves laugh the most? Like, what's funniest to us? It comes from both of us, like, and I think a lot of us just like not loving the traditional concept of work. So it's like, how can we make work as fun as possible for us?
No, I love that.
And it's just like, and it's awesome to be rewarded for that. I want us to have fun. I want everyone in the room to have fun and to be laughing. And if that's not happening, then it's like, I don't really like, then we're all bored. Like, then it sucks.
I'm really excited going into next year because I feel like it feels like this year was a transitional year. Next year will be as well because we have really, really big plans, and next year will be transitional as well. But I feel like Smosh Games is finding its stride, and I hope you feel the liberty to, really make it what your vision is. I know you have a lot of ideas for the branding and the way that it'll all look, and we're gonna switch that up going into next year, and I'm so excited for that. But I hope you feel empowered because you're doing such, you and Alex and everyone else, you're doing such a phenomenal job. I think everyone just like wants to see the channel continue to grow and evolve and be, what it authentically is. Smosh Games, something you turn on and you feel like you have family in the room with you. You feel like you're with your friends.
It's gonna be the best year yet. Hey,
Thank you.
Thank you.
You just drink more kicks.
I drink more caffeine. Yeah, I've been in a yerba era.
Ooh,
which is bad because it's way more caffeine.
Way more caffeinated. But
like today, I just had a kickstart, and I'm feeling it. I'm like, shit, I need the yerba.
Oh yeah,
because that's 2 kickstarts. One yerba equals 2 kickstarts. So yeah, that's where I'm on my caffeine intake journey.
You need more caffeine. Huh?
I do. I really do. I've been thinking my throat is calling out for it.
Yeah, I see that hand is already ready to grip some yerba mate.